Bow staff, step forward, strike. We're going to take what we have learned so far and add one more item. The new item is going to be a step forward, and we'll do this in two different ways. One, we'll start off with that straight position, that forward stance, and then we'll take a step forward, a set step forward, keep that foot out, and then go through our same kind of rotation, the same type of strikes with that stepping forward, allowing our weight to go back and forth from our back foot to our front foot. And then we'll actually go to stepping up here as we make the strike as well, which will give us a lot more cardio as we go through this. So you can see this will take a lot more energy. We'll go through the step up as we go through the strike process and go through that same motion. However, this time actually, of course, lifting our foot, stepping forward as we go through that process. We're going to start off here with our forward position now. So we have our forward facing position. We're not taking the side position as we did with the baseball swing, but we're forward facing. We're imagining, if we're saying the pitcher analogy, the pitcher's right in front of us, throwing us right at the chest, or in other words, the strike will be to the front of us, outside, right in front of the chest, rather than to the side. We're going to start from that position and modify it. So here's our stance. There's our low stance. We're going to go through our same setup here. However, now we're going to add some movement to the feet. So we have that planted position. Now we're going to step forward from that planted position as we go through our movement. So here's our low position. We're going to move the strike around to the front as we saw in prior presentations. There it is. And there it is with the planted feet. We're bringing our heels up a bit here, but we right now, as of now, have the feet planted. So we're bringing it forward. There's our 4 steps that we have there with the planted position. Now we're stepping forward, and that's what we're going to practice. Notice we're going to be stepping forward. We have a right-handed stance. We're on the right hand, and we're going to be moving the left leg forward. We're moving the left leg, and the reason we're moving the opposite leg, we're striking with the right, we're moving the left leg, or one reason is that we know we're going to have to bring the staff back. So we're going to do that same type of 4 strike position, and therefore we're going to be striking out front and then bringing the staff back. And the problem with bringing the staff back is you don't want to hit this leg. So we're going to be bringing the opposite leg forward and try to avoid any hitting of the leg. And if you hit your own leg, that's okay. That's why you probably want to start with a not too heavy staff, because that's a very common thing and you will hit yourself with the staff from time to time. And that's why we have basically a fairly light staff to start out with. So we're going to start off with this, and we're going to step forward every time we have the strike. There's our forward step, leaning into it, and there's our forward step. So notice we're going to have here, we're just basically planting at this point with this foot forward. So instead of having the two level foot, we've got this foot forward, and we're going to just basically go through our same movement here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So here's our setup position. And then when we bring it around, that's going to be our first strike. Don't hit the knee is basically what we're emphasizing here. So we've got the forward position. We can lean forward into it. And that's actually one strike that you can have here with the tip. But then we're going to bring it around for 1, and then back to our position 2, back to the setup. Same thing we saw before. We're basically at our starting point. And then the other 2, we think of those setup type positions. 3 on the high position of 4. 1, 2, 3, high position, and then bringing it back to the setup 4, which is setting us up for the strike again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Emphasizing the 1, that 1 strike, just as we saw before, now with that leaned forward position, stepping forward in front rather than a sideward baseball swing or completely forward facing stance. So now we're stepping into the strike, stepped into the strike. We can get a little bit more speed with this as well. Again, your main point, don't hit the knee on the way back as you wrap around. Now we're doing the same thing, but basically stepping into it. And this is where you can get a lot of cardio in here, because as we bring it back around, notice we're stepping up and you're getting some rhythm basically as it's going back into this high positions. We're bringing it back into the high. That's when we can step up. If you do it earlier than that, then you're likely to hit your knee as you bring the staff back around. So you want to be careful with this, and it'll give you some rhythm once you do that. It makes you aware of the movement. So we'll bring the step up, and then the strike, of course, is when you bring it back down, and we have the strike at the end. So we bring it back up, basically back up, and then we're going to bring it around, strike. So you just want to make sure that as you bring it back, it's sometime when this back end has already been brought back, and you'll get to that basically rhythm. And this, of course, is a good thing to have done with music or something like this. This will give you more of a workout as you go. And this is the major thing to avoid, is that back end coming back as you bring the knee up before you brought that backside back. Once you brought it back on the first of the second step of the 4 steps, then you're generally okay, because now you're on this side of the body and you're typically okay. So you want to make sure to clear that 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And so you can have the 4. You can emphasize either of those 4 beats. You know, you can obviously go quite fast on this as well, and you can mix up many different combinations as we step forward. Later we'll take the step forward and move it around as we go. So now we're doing the same thing. We're facing off frontward. So now we're imagining basically the pitcher out here, but throwing it right to the chest. And we're trying to hit that way going forward. We're going to step into the pitcher, stepping straight forward, completely squared off. And then we're going to basically step into it. So here's without the step. That's our old position. Now we're going to move that left foot. So now we're moving the left foot forward. We have the right side. So here's the right stance, the low stance. We're stepping forward with the left foot. So now we're going to step into it. Same thing, but now we just got that forward stance, and we're giving a little bit more emphasis as we go forward. We're moving the heels up as we move forward, as we have that forward swing. Then of course we can move the step into it fully and have the more emphasis in the strike as we bring up. Again, obviously our goal is to move this knee before this one comes back down. So see how we just brought it right around there. It has to miss the knee when you go around there. And if you hit it, it shouldn't be too bad as long as you got a light staff. But you can, if you have a heavy staff, it'll hurt for a while, and that's okay. That's part of the process. So you may want pants on in case that happens. Now we'll do this side. And so of course, once again, we're going to be stepping from the left. We're imagining the pitcher's out here throwing right to the chest. And we're going to be striking out front with the left going forward. So same kind of position. We're going to have the left foot forward now. We're striking. Here's the right-handed strike again from this side. We're pointing to this side, but just stepping into it now. First, just basically with that planted step. We've got the emphasis on the heels coming up, but no big emphasis as much as basically the whole movement of the foot coming up. And then we can modify that by basically increasing, and that'll give us a bit more of a workout. So we can see once again, as we come around here, you can see that this is going to go back up this way. So you want to make sure to clear that knee before you bring the knee up. So as long as you have the timing on that, then you can mess around with different kind of rhythms, different kind of timing, and move around with this. Emphasizing once again, of course, the front strike, this strike, our main strike, doesn't have to be, however, and you can emphasize any of the strikes that we have here. And so notice we're leaning forward in that, obviously that particular strike, but you can emphasize any other strike, and that will, you can change your body position as you emphasize. If the next position is this side going up, you can try to emphasize your position, of course, to emphasize that strike as well. So there's a lot of different combinations you can do as you move your body around to emphasize different positions, different strikes. Now we'll go through it a little bit faster here. Here's going to be our front position. Same kind of thing. Notice you can modify the rhythm on this. You can have different rhythms. You can do it to music. You can emphasize different components.